This week, we're packing up and heading to Atlanta for a Thursday night primetime matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. This is shaping up to be a tough battle between the Bucs and the Dirty Birds. Plus, it's a critical division contest for both teams. Join us for a special hour-long Thursday night local pregame show starting at 7 p.m. and kickoff is at 8:15 right here on Fox 13.
Videos on Fox 13 Tampa Bay's YouTube page have more than 500 million views. See what everybody else has been watching and subscribe now. There are so many, you know, I think it goes without saying. The reason it's so important is that the food is part of it. There are meals on wheels, but it's really, it's safety, it's friendliness, it's support on wheels. It is. It's all the chatting, it's the friendliness, it's checking on them. There's so much more of it, and they do great work. So if you can, help them out for sure.
Yeah, please. I mean, and we're just hearing more and more of these organizations that are going to need help.
Yeah, over 1 million meals to seniors just in Pinellas County last year. About 700 people or so on the waiting list to get some more meals as well. So they don't have enough volunteers. Even if you can't give, you can maybe give your time. Fox13news.com. Check out the link there.
Speaking of time, we're out of it, but we're going to keep going right here on Fox 13 with our Bucs pregame special. We're talking food, fans,
and of course football with sports director Scott Smith live in Atlanta right next.
Week 5 of the NFL season kicking off tonight. We welcome you to downtown Atlanta. Just 4 days ago, the Bucs grounded those Eagles back in Tampa, and tonight they fix their gaze on another feathered foe, their NFC South rival, the Atlanta Falcons. I'm Scott Smith, and welcome outside Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in downtown Atlanta as we are approaching kickoff here tonight. Fans still bottlenecking their way inside this 7-year-old stadium to get a peek of what we hope will be another tightly contested battle between NFC South foes. Of course, last year, both these teams split the series, and, well, they both came into this season kind of as NFC South darlings. The Bucs starting out the season 3-1. The Falcons right behind them at 2-2. So, yes, it's still early in the season, but tonight goes a long way to seeing who's going to take the top of the heap in this always tightly contested NFC South. Well, you don't have to go anywhere tonight because we're bringing you the game right here on Fox 13, 8:15 kickoff, so just keep it locked in here. And over the next hour, we have your pregame coverage covered. Of course, we have analysis, we have interviews, and we, of course, have some food. I mean, you got to have game day grub, right? So we're going to get those taste buds tingling as well. And we have our crews covered from here to from Atlanta back to Tampa. Of course, we have our eye in the sky wide over Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We have the fans that are outside Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. We're going to catch up with Sean Berry just momentarily. And then we have Evan Moon. She's covering the Bucs tailgate back in Tampa Bay. It's going to be a fun one, and we are a little over an hour away from kicking this thing off and get you an idea of what to expect here in tonight's tilt. Before we do that, though, let's head right back into our studio there. Mark and Allie joining the tailgate with us. I understand that you guys have some game day grub already dialed up, so I'm sure you're looking forward to some football here tonight.
I'm just going to unbutton the jacket right now because I'm going to need it.
I was going to say, yeah, we're going to do it because it's 7 o'clock and we're always starving at this time, and now we're going to be able to eat. We've got a food truck waiting for us.
And can we just talk timing for a second? This is coming at a much, this is the most critical time. We need a little bit of a break. We know a lot of people are still hurting, but we thank the Bucs and a little bit of the Falcons.
Yes.
We need a little distraction tonight, and you're going to get it.
This is going to be a good one. Hundreds of people across the Bay Area are hopefully choosing their local watering hole to celebrate our Bucs tonight.
The normal places, of course, in Tampa are packed. And one of our favorites, of course, is where Fox 13's Evan Moon is, live at the press box, not far from the station here on Dale Mabry. Hi there, Evan. How's the vibe tonight?
Hey guys, yeah, well, we still have an hour, so it's going to continue to get more crowded, but I have a lot to show you already here at Press Box. I'm actually standing with a lifelong fan. This is Wade. Wade, how long have you been a fan of the Buccaneers?
Seriously, my whole life. I was born here. I've been following them ever since, and recently I'm moving back here from Atlanta, so I'm excited. So we got to win this game tonight.
From Atlanta, a lot going on for you tonight.
Yes,
how do you feel about the game? How do you feel about the momentum going into the season?
There's no choice. We got to beat the Dirty Birds, but I like where we're headed, and I definitely like our direction.
Awesome. I like your shirt, by the way, too. Now, if you want some paraphernalia like this, we've also got some hats. This is new gear for the Bucs. We've got some bling for the ladies, and we've got some stuff for Creamsicle Week, which is coming up at the end of October. And I am standing here with the owner of Heads and Tails. something dropped there, all of our stuff. How does it feel being here for the game and being able to be a local shop here at Press Box?
It's awesome. We love doing the pop-ups here at Press Box. It's a wonderful way for us to bring our customers into Press Box and for us to be able to be a part of such an exciting atmosphere to watch the game.
And how do you feel about the game tonight?
I feel great. I mean, I think we have a great opportunity to beat Atlanta in Atlanta this year and keep the winning streak going.
I love that attitude. Now, before I let you guys go, we have a lot of wings over here. I'm going to start with a mild this hour, but if you stay with me till the end of 8, I'm going to try the atomic wings, Mark and Allie. So wish me luck. Mild isn't too bad. We'll see how atomic is at the end of the hour.
They got some cold milk for you. Might need that. Isn't that what you're supposed to do when you get overheated?
That's a good idea.
I know. And Evan, I'm loving that stuff behind you, especially.
Those are good.
Was that trucker hat? Was that like the foam trucker hat in that creamsicle orange? That's pretty solid.
I'll show you.
See?
A lot of stuff here.
Oh, that's it? Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, no, those look fantastic. All right. That is Evan Moon live for us tonight, where the party is about to get underway at the Press Box.
Yes.
On Southtown Mabry, just south of Kennedy Boulevard. Looks like fun.
Gosh, I love the creamsicle.
I know. I tell you, Scott, we got the creamsicle. We got some special stuff coming up in our parking lot here before long. We're going to tease that for you, but we're excited to eat whether or not we have a game.
Yeah, we'll send it back to you in Atlanta.
Those wings look good, guys. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, we've seen some creamsicle actually sprinkled throughout the fan base here. Actually, a lot of Bucs fans making that trek here, and we'll catch up with some a little bit later on. But tonight we got a familiar foe in the Atlanta Falcons, but just how familiar are the Bucs with this particular version of the Atlanta Falcons? Because in the offseason, this team went out and they beefed up with some free agent acquisitions, guys like Darnell Mooney and Kirk Cousins on the defensive side of the ball, Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons, not to mention a whole new coaching staff led by Raheem Morris as well. So for as much as we know the logo, maybe the team a little bit different. They're out to a 2-2 start. But here's what I have as the big 3 takeaways and what to watch for tonight's tilt. So it's a common thread for the Bucs. Injury has been one throughout the first few games of the season. So with that, that's going to leave an opportunity for guys to step up. But tonight you got 6 key players not playing for the Bucs. That would be right tackle Luke Gedeke. You got a couple of receivers in Trey McMillan and Jalen McMillan and Trey Palmer. On the defensive side of the ball, still no Antoine Winfield Jr., no Kalijah Cansey. Servassier Dennis added to the IR earlier this week, so maybe that opens the door for some other guys like maybe Cam Johnson, the young rookie, to step up, or the veteran that was pulled off the practice squad in Sterling Shepard, an opportunity for him. How about Christian Izzy in the safety? You know who his first career NFL interception came against? That would be against Kirk Cousins last year in the season opener in Minnesota. All right, our second big thing to watch for tonight is a fast start. How about getting Baker bacon early like he did last week against those Philadelphia Eagles? We saw how valuable it is to get Baker throwing the ball early, get the ball out quickly. It doesn't have to be deep bombs to Mike Evans, just to develop a little early rhythm. Baker should have time to throw. Falcons have the fewest sacks in the league, just 4 to this point in the season. Not generating a ton of pressure, but when Baker is distributing the ball early, good things tend to happen, and it opens up a run game that should be able to open up some holes in this one, just like last week against the Eagles. The key is to get this thing started early. Final thing to watch for here tonight is how about bring some heat? We saw some of that last week against the Eagles. Half a dozen sacks for this team to get after the quarterback. Kirk Cousins is coming off a Achilles surgery in the offseason. Not quite as mobile. Never has been, but certainly not at 35 years of age and coming off an Achilles tear. So get him out of the pocket. They've done a decent job so far of protecting their quarterback, but if you could dial up some pressure from the outside, guy like Yaya Diaby, bring the heat. Got his first sack of the season last week. Get Cousins on the move, and if you do that, I think you'll be able to dial up some interceptions in this one and give this team an opportunity against certainly a potent receiving core in Drake London and Darnell Mooney. So those are a few of the subplots, but of course the main story here tonight is that this is a battle, an early season battle, mind you, for first place in the NFC South. So much has been made about this Atlanta Falcons team and how they rebuilt in the offseason. They were somewhat of a preseason darling, but right now the Bucs sit a game ahead of them, and we know how jam-packed this division tends to get, especially towards the end. So every single opportunity matters here early on in the season to be able to get some type of advantage against the opponent and build a nice little cushion in the NFC South. That's the big key for the button after it. All right, so another newcomer to this Falcons team is a name that we know quite well in the Tampa Bay area. He is Of course, Ray McLeod, a Sickles High product, who went on to play at Clemson, and then he's made a few NFL stops along the way. Buffalo, Carolina, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, and now he's here. Coming up, we catch up with the 7-year pro receiver and kick returner next as the Fox 13 pregame show. Just getting warmed up, live from Atlanta. It's a great night for some football here in Atlanta, a Thursday night game, a 70,000-seat arena to watch this one in. Packing inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the Bucs taking their first swipe at an NFC South opponent a little over an hour from now and build up a little cushion in that divisional lead. Well, the Bucs come in fresh off a victory last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, sitting at 3-1 on the season. Here's a little side-by-side of your quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield, 5th right now in the NFC South, or in the NFC rather, in passing yards, completion percentage, and 2nd in the NFC in quarterback rating. Meanwhile, the Falcons sit at 2-2 on the season. A last-second field goal last week put them over the top against the Saints, but the offense still finding its way under Cousins, who trails Mayfield statistically, yet to throw for more than 250 yards in a game. But it is certainly not for a lack of weapons. He has plenty of those between Drake London and Darnell Mooney and Kyle Pitts. And then in the receiving game, or in the running game, they got Bijan Robinson and Travis Algier. So he's got weapons all around him to distribute. It seems like they're an offense that's right around the corner from starting to find their rhythm and get things going. One of those receiving options that is also new to the Falcons is a guy that we know back in Tampa, Ray McLeod, a Sickles High product, who is already off to a career mark with this Falcons team. He's been targeted with this Falcons club more than any other team that he's been with before. And now, of course, he'd love nothing more than to shine against his hometown team. Our Sean Berry had an opportunity to catch up with Ray, and I'm sure, Sean, he is fired up for this one here tonight.
Well, Scott, he's got hands, he's got speed. So nice they decided to name him twice. When Ray McLeod III actually graduated from Sickles High School in Tampa back in 2016, or 2015 rather, he did so as the leading rusher all-time in Hillsborough County High School history. Now in his 6th season in the NFL and first with the Falcons, Ray told me he kind of feels a renewed sense of himself, and all it took was a change in scenery and a team to believe in Ray like he does. A man unboxed, as you heard Ray say himself. He just feels like a kid again. He feels light on his feet here playing for the Atlanta Falcons. So we're going to see a lot of him tonight, whether the Bucs fans like it or not. A quick side note, though, it's not just a big night for Ray, but the McLeod family in general. Ray's playing here on primetime. His brother, the quarterback of the Texas State Bobcats, Jordan, he's in primetime in Texas tonight. And, of course, their younger sister playing a high school volleyball game in Tampa. Scott?
That is a full docket, Sean.
Yeah.
The McLeod family is going to be busy here tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you, Sean. So, playing against a hometown team is not just a Ray story, but the Bucs have one of those guys as well. One Yaya Diaby. He is an Atlanta native. In fact, he kind of just grew up playing high school ball right down the road, about 10 miles down the street. But believe it or not, Yaya Diaby was a 0-star recruit. I mean, no college had their eyes set on this guy, and now he comes back home, and he's wearing that pewter and red with the NFL logo over his chest. So we're going to catch up with Yaya on the other side. Plus, of course, we got to get into some of the cuisine here in Atlanta, and we did just that with some recommendations from some friends that know this area well. What's the best way to find out about a city? You got to go find some place to eat, get some good grub, and we went to a place that helped us fill our bellies. It's Atlanta's favorite deli. That's right. The Fox 13 pregame show rolls on this Thursday night, live from Atlanta. Stay with us. Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia, the host site of Thursday Night Football between the Bucs and the Falcons. Welcome back into Fox 13's pregame show. I am Scott Smith. Now, while we are in enemy territory here in Atlanta, the Atlanta Metro is actually the hometown to dozens of players from around the NFL, and one of those is on your Buccaneers roster. That would be Yaya Diaby, the second-year outside linebacker, actually went to North Clayton High School right down the road from here. And now he comes back, and of course, been getting texts and calls all week. Hey, can I get a ticket? I want to come watch the game. I want to catch you. But we know these are Falcons fans, right? So we're going to have a strong contingent of conflicted Falcons fans here, rooting for their Falcons and yet pulling for their hometown success story. By the way, Yaya coming off his first sack last week against the Eagles, and of course he'd love nothing more than to tally some here back in his hometown. So now, while we were unsuccessful in avoiding that terrible traffic here in Atlanta, as Yaya aptly described it, one thing we were successful at was taking him up on his restaurant recommendation. So Sean Berry, producer Brian King, and myself, we decided to go to American Deli and put it to the taste test. I mean, it's not just Yaya that loves this place. It's kind of become this staple. I mean, it started back in 1989, just a mom-and-pop shop based in Atlanta, one store. And now, here we are, how many decades later, and they've got 200 stores across 8 different states, but of course, a ton right here in the Atlanta metro. So, American Deli. You know, you got to have good wings for any tailgate, but it's nice to get to a local spot. And I understand, as we head back to Tampa and catch up with Mark and Allie, that you've got a little Atlanta flair to some of the food back in house. Is this correct?
I mean, wings are great, but don't get me wrong, we got crab daddies.
Oh, yes.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, you guys, we're so excited. We're getting our bibs ready because we're about to jump in here. I want to introduce you all to Daryl King and his wife, Bridget, who own the food truck here. Guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
Well, thank you for having us.
This smells delicious for the event in Atlanta. And what inspired you guys to start Crab Daddy?
Well, actually, I'm a Florida boy, Lakeland, Florida, and I left here in '94, and I was in Atlanta for quite some time, and so I briefly I dirty birded for a little while.
But why? Tell us why.
They get free tickets.
Okay.
So anyway, in 2019, my dad got ill, and so we relocated here to Florida, and we brought our food truck down, and it became our full-time gig, and we've been doing it since then.
I'm going to have your fabulous wife, Bridget, tell us a little bit about what's going on here with this food. What do we have?
Grab a fork, Allie. You can dig in.
Okay. This is our snow crab combo. It comes with crab legs, shrimp, corn, and garlic potatoes.
Oh, we need smell-o-vision right now, I tell you what.
And then next we have our crab and shrimp pasta. And that is a penne pasta with broccoli, shrimp, and 100% lump crab meat. And a creamy sauce on top with onions and peppers.
Don't get ahead of me. I'm not passing up this shrimp. Oh, my goodness.
It's delicious.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
And then we have our house special. It's a grouper house special. It has our Cajun shrimp and grits. It has shrimp and sausage in it, and a piece of grouper, grilled grouper, with onions and bell peppers as well.
And this is all fresh grouper, right?
Yes, yes.
All freshly cut.
This is our #1 seller. This is our grouper skillet. It has grouper, fried grouper, catfish, smoked sausage, onions and bell peppers, seafood rice that has crab meat in it, and our creamy sauce on top.
It really smells amazing. We appreciate you guys coming up. Before we let you go, Crab Daddy's food truck, right?
Yes.
And you guys also have, if you can't find the food truck, you guys have a brick and mortar store. You have a restaurant.
We just opened up in Lakeland. It's 1046 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue in Lakeland, Florida, right off of Memorial.
We can only hope our viewers find them and enjoy, because it smells amazing. It already tastes amazing, and we've only gotten through about half of it. Big game tonight. I know you still have some family in Atlanta, but you guys tell us, look, John, take a look. They may have some Atlanta blood, but they're all Bucks right now. That's for sure. Well, thank you guys again. Please find them. Please enjoy. You mind? You're going to dig in with us here for a little bit?
Of course.
All right. All right.
Thank you so much. This is delicious. Real quick, for folks, you guys go 70 miles within the Tampa Bay area, so this truck travels.
Most definitely. We're Orlando, you name it, Sarasota. We've gone all over this truck. Daytona. So that's outside of 70 miles, but we travel.
Well, we can't thank you enough for coming in, especially right now. Mark and I have been saying this has been a nice break and distraction from
grouper. You gotta
delicious.
hit that grouper.
This
It's
is so
amazing.
good. Comfort food is what we all need right now.
Yes.
We're going to send it back to you guys. Actually, coming up, we're going to be doing some trivia, some Atlanta trivia. Maybe you guys can help us out.
All right.
Scott's going to be quizzing us to see how much we know. So maybe we'll keep you guys along for our lifeline. We'll be right back.
That's right. Bucks and Falcons right here on Fox 13. And would you look at that sunset reflecting off Mercedes-Benz Stadium, off that glass. A picture-perfect night for football here in Atlanta, Georgia. A prime-time showdown heading your way here tonight. Of course, this tonight is a battle for first place in the NFC South, and I know it's still early on in the season. We are stepping into Week 5, which is about the quarter mark of the season. But all these games inside the division mean a whole lot more, especially against the Falcons team that many expect to battle those Bucs toward the end of the season to win this conference outright. Well, we happen to run into a lot of different people here in Atlanta. We've run into some Fox 13 viewers that have come here. They want to catch the game, but it's always nice when you run into a familiar face. Ira Kaufman from Joe Bucks Fan just happened to be walking by, and of course, we had to get his take on tonight's tilt. Well, now that we got the difficult questions out of the way, and now it's time to get to the easy ones, or at least we hope so. It's time for a little bit of trivia. Let's bring Mark and Allie back in. All right, these are going to be multiple choice questions, and this is, of course, trivia about Atlanta, the area, and a little bit about the teams. Okay, here we go. Question number 1 for you. How many streets in Atlanta have the form Peachtree in the name? Okay, very common. You know Peachtree Street here in Atlanta, but there's more than one. How many?
The fact that there's more than 10 even surprises me.
I'm going to say 70.
10, 30, 70, or 90?
Allie's going 70. I'll go 30.
Okay, the correct answer is 70. Allie got this right. We have variations: Peachtree Corner, Peachtree View.
Wow.
So there we go. Allie's in the winners total already. All right, question number 2. What is the original name for the city of Atlanta? Is it Terminus, Augustus, Atlantica, or Fultonburg?
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I love the sound of
everything
Augustus.
but Terminus. I'm with you. I like Augustus,
Augustus
too.
sounds
that
very
would be
regal.
Anybody who named any of those other ones are crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So the answer is Terminus.
Oh.
No way.
Because this was actually I got a little history for it. It's the end of the Western and Atlantic Railroad lines from back in 1837. This was the final stop. They changed it to Atlanta back in 1845. All right. I believe this is the time for our last one. So we had to shorten this segment because you guys were long-winded. All right. What Atlanta Pro franchise played first in the city? Is it the Braves, the Falcons, the Hawks, or their first NHL team, the Flames?
You would know this more than me. I don't.
It's definitely not Hawks and Flames. And if memory serves me right, the Braves were not originally in Atlanta. So I would guess they transferred. I think they were.
I'm trying to
Northeast,
read Scott's face right now. He doesn't look like he has a lot of faith in us.
NFL was early 60s.
I'm focusing.
I would guess Falcons because I think the Braves came from elsewhere.
It was the Braves, ladies and gentlemen. They were the first team to play in Atlanta. That was during the spring of 1966. However, Atlanta was awarded to the NFL in 1965, but the franchise didn't play their first game until fall of '66.
That was a trick question.
I don't know about that. I might have to throw a booth review for that one. Okay. All right. Fair enough. You did say play.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks,
Love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
All right. Good contest. All right. So all eyes on Atlanta here tonight as we get ready for this kickoff Thursday night, Week 5 between the Bucs and the Falcons. Your 3-1 Bucs looking to stay on top of the division. Coming up on the other side. Oh, are you guys taking this?
Only if you want.
Let me hand it off to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Apparently, according to our sports director, the Bucs will be shorthanded tonight without about 6 players, including 4 starters. So, as well as we played last week, nothing is a given here.
Yeah, but they have shown over the first quarter of the season that really they can win despite missing some key players. We want to bring in Kevin O'Donnell with a look at how they're going to be getting it done tonight, Kev.
Yeah, it's a nice start, 3-1. We'll take that, right?
Yeah.
So what is the secret to this team? You know, the Bucs have been putting up a ton of points in the first quarter of the season, averaging 24 points per game. Twice they put up over 30. It's pass first, and the Bucs and Baker Mayfield are getting it done. But the biggest difference we've seen with the offense under new offensive coordinator Liam Cohen is, well, the improved running game. And it's a rookie that's leading the way. He's the spark to this rushing attack. Bucky Irvin has quickly become a fan favorite, and look at the numbers he's put up. The number 2 running back, too, right? Bucky's 5.8 average per carry is, along with some elite company, he's 4th among all NFL running backs behind J.K. Dobbins and Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley. Now, among the receiving backs, Rachaad White is 2nd in the NFL in yards after the catch with 183 yards, just 1 behind Devon Achane. Rachaad and Bucky both have over 225 scrimmage yards, which puts them in the top 3. And Liam Cohen really couldn't be more pleased with their start, but he thinks they can be even better.
Yeah, it's a week-to-week thing, right? We're trying to get better each week. I thought both guys, especially Rashad, was running. They were running hard, running through arm tackles. Those guys both answered the bell, in terms of coming out aggressively, breaking tackles, running physically. Rashad made some great plays in the pass game. One on a tip, whereas behind them, makes a great play, makes the guy miss. And then also on the screen later on a low ball, he makes Nakobe Dean miss in space. And those guys were playing really well on Sunday. I was very pleased with those two.
Yeah, really, those are two compliments to the passing attack that's smoking right now. Baker Mayfield has thrown for the 6th most yards in the NFL. His 8 touchdown passes, the 2nd most in the NFL, trailing only Minnesota's Sam Darnold. So a little bit of a surprise there. I know the Bucs running game has been beaten up over the last 2 years, finishing dead last. So it's nice to see major improvement in that category.
Just a couple of those pieces on the offensive line this year, it looks like it made all the difference. That opened up everything, give Baker some more time, so it's great to see.
It's been so fun to watch.
For sure.
All right, Kevin, thanks. Coming up on the Fox 13 pregame show as the Bucs get ready to take the field against the Falcons, Scott Smith and Chris Cato are going to be talking their favorite birds.
Another interesting nod pod right after the break.
Welcome back to Atlanta as we get ready for Thursday night football between the Bucs and the Falcons. It's time to welcome in my normally T-shirt-clad co-host of the No Off Days podcast, one Chris Cato, back in studio. And I'm told that he is wearing a T-shirt. Is this correct? Yes, indeed he is. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that.
We didn't want to put the viewers
we recently...
Yeah.
Sorry. We recently celebrated 100 podcasts, and people have asked, how could a show that focuses on such trivial nonsense exist for 100 episodes? And I'll say to that, just watch, because we're about to do it right now. The Bucs have hit their bird schedule. It's the bird portion of the schedule, believe it or not. They played the Eagles last week. We got the Falcons this week. We got the Ravens in 2 weeks, and then again against the Falcons. So I figured, why don't we list our top 3 birds, and I'll again, the floor is yours, Chris. So start us off with your number 3 bird.
Okay, I just want to say that none of my birds are real birds. I just want to put that out there first. So I'm going to go off the top here. Number 3, Admiral Richard Byrd, one of the greatest American explorers to ever do it. And like a bird, he actually did fly. Was the first person to fly over both the North and South Poles. What a trip! And he spent a lot of J.D. Rockefeller's money exploring Antarctica. 4 different expeditions to Antarctica, and anyone, Scott, who spends 5 months alone in a hut buried under the ice deserves to be on this list of greatest birds that aren't birds ever.
Wow, pulled that one out. Very interesting. Okay, my number 3 bird is, well, one, Glenn Fry and Don Henley and Joe Walsh. Of course, I'm speaking of the band The Eagles, Rock and Roll Hall of Famers, such classics as Hotel California and Desperado and Take It Easy. I mean, you could just go down the laundry list. One of the greatest rock bands of our time. The Eagles coming in at number 3 for me, Chris.
By the way, I've got a peaceful, easy feeling about this Bucs game tonight. I think it's going to go well. Good call there. Love the Eagles. I'm going to go with my number 2 bird that's not a real bird. I said a no list is complete, boy, without Foghorn Leghorn on that list of birds. Yeah, of Looney Tunes fame, of course, there. Not only did he do a bang-up job of protecting the hens from that weasel and that chicken hawk, Foghorn was a master of insulting someone by simile. Got a couple gems for you here. That boy's about as sharp as a bowling ball. Or maybe this one. That dog's about as subtle as a hand grenade in a bowl of oatmeal. I mean, he was a master at that. Definitely one of the best birds that's not
without
a real
question.
bird.
I love Foghorn Leghorn. All right, my number 2. We'll focus on the game of baseball. Before this guy came around, relief pitchers and closers, they just weren't a thing. It was where the old starters kind of went out to wait out the rest of their career. I'm talking Goose Gossage. He was a Hall of Famer, inducted back in 2008, 22 seasons, 9 different teams, and his superpower was, of course, stored in that magical mustache he had, the Fu Manchu. Goose Gossage coming in at number 2 for me. Who's your top bird, Chris?
Top bird has got to be Free Bird by Leonard Skinner. One of the greatest rock and roll songs ever. Lyrically, yes, it's a little light, but the real power in this song, of course, is how it builds into that instrumental explosion. 4-minute guitar solo by Alan Collins, considered by Guitar World as one of the top 10 guitar solos of all time. It will leave you feeling untethered and, dare I say, free as a bird.
Well, that's a good one. Mine is maybe the most formative fictional character of my childhood, of course. There was a lot of dynamic characters on that Sesame Street. They had a grump that lived in a garbage can. Of course, the neurotic guy that kept counting, the one guy that suffered with some level of depression and snuffleupagus, and yet he held it all together. I'm talking, of course, of Big Bird, keeping that neighborhood intact. Every neighborhood needs one, and despite his towering heights of probably about 8.5 feet, he was not that intimidating. Very kind fellow there, Big Bird. Chris, as always, I appreciate our trivial discussions. No Off Days podcast available at fox13news.com/nodpod. And now you can put your suit and tie back on.
I don't think I will. Have fun, buddy. Good to see you.
I love it. We'll see you. All right, thank you. All right, we are now on to... we're going to toss the break. After this, we're going to have more from Atlanta as we count you down to kickoff. Of course, we are just minutes away from this Thursday night battle between the Bucs and the Falcons. We're going to catch up with some of these fans. As you can hear, they are still funneling in. Stay with us. Welcome back to Atlanta. Scott Smith here on this Thursday night as we get ready for Bucs and Falcons. Fans still trickling in, and it's always nice when you hit the road to see some of the home jerseys, those Buccaneer fans that make the trip. Arshawn Berry was able to catch up with some displaced Bucs fans now residing in Atlanta. You got to have some thick skin if you're going to go into enemy territory. Certainly those do. And we've just, in fact, one person just walked by and said, Baker's the GOAT. So we got Bucs fans all around us here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and certainly back in Tampa as they gather for this watch party here tonight, getting ready for Bucs Falcons right here on Fox 13. We'll send it back into Allie and Mark for more on that.
Great stuff, Scott. Thanks. You know, some didn't travel to the ATL, Bucs fans it is, but they're still getting ready to be a part of the action here in Tampa Bay. Share the joy with others.
Oh, yeah. They're filling up the seats right now at restaurants all across the area. We want to go back out live to Fox 13's Evan Moon. She's at the press box right there along Dale Mabry for us. Evan, we're so close to game time, so what's the atmosphere like there?
Oh, it's packed now. We're just 10 minutes away, and there are a lot of fans here. And I'm going to take it to Steven. He's a fan, lifelong fan. How long have you been a fan of the Bucs?
20-plus years.
And how does it feel going into this season? Do you feel confident we'll make it to the playoffs, to the Super Bowl?
100%. Division champs last year for the last 4 years. We've got a great cadence going with the team. Baker's doing great. Mike's doing great. Levante, everybody. I feel super great about the season.
And he is also the owner of Heads and Tails. You see all this swag behind me. He's got new gear you'll see off the sides. He's got the creamsicle stuff that's coming to us at the end of October. And he really gets to connect with the community. How does it feel having the store and talking to fans all the time?
It's great. I mean, being here at the press box also is phenomenal because so many of our fans are here supporting a local business. It's amazing. And it's great to be behind the Bucs.
And before I let you guys go, I promised that I would try the atomic wing, even though I really don't want to. Scott, my photographer, is going to make me. Here we go. That's hot. That's hot. All right, we're going to toss to break. That's a really hot wing right there. Atomic wing. We're going to break.
Welcome back to Atlanta. As we are just minutes away from kickoff between the Bucs and the Falcons. Prime time. What happens in prime time? Big players show up. Baker Mayfield, he lost his first Thursday night game ever last year in Buffalo. Other than that, he's 4-1 on this night. How about Kirk Cousins? He's kind of struggled in primetime games, 13-21 over the course of his career. So what are the big things to watch for in tonight's game? I mean, you got some major matchups. You got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, but they have a safety duo of Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons. Zion McCollum's going to have his hands full with Drake London. I think the Bucs want to find a little more balance in the run game. My prediction is they find that. Rashad White had a big performance last year against the Falcons. I say Bucky Irving tops 100 yards for the first time in his career. Bucs win by less than a touchdown tonight on the road. Stay with us as the game is coming your way next. 8:15 right here on Fox. Catch us after the game for more post-game reaction. Thanks for watching the Fox 13 pregame show.
Just like the sun, we're here to brighten your day every day on Good Day.